I've not experienced too many people that experience the level of joy that Lindell experienced. He finds joy in his 80-odd years, and I appreciate it.
It's all just an adventure. If people could just see it that way, it's just taking an adventure. When people get married, it's two individuals agreeing to make the trek together. It's as simple as that. You got to know that. It's all about you. It really is. I mean, you're thinking about you most of the time, right? Well,
absolutely. Who else are we going to think about? The truth be told, who else are we going to think about? Whether we try to think about our spouse, our children, our grandchildren, or whatever, it ultimately still comes back to us and how they make us feel.
That's it. That's absolutely right. How it makes you feel. That's what you want to do. You want to line up the things that make you feel the way you want to feel.
Absolutely.
I like on my stereo here, I have 3 CDs. And each one of them is a mood. And then when I sit down here, if I want to get into a particular mood, I pick one of the 3. And I know which one to pick for the mood I want. But no, and it works that way. Actually, that's what most people do. They sit down and they worry about something and they really get into it. And they don't realize that they're actually marring up their future. Whereas sitting here, relaxed, enjoying the music and that, building a bridge over to where you really want to be because you're feeling it now. And now is what's going to be produced in your world a few minutes from now, and then a few minutes from then, and then a few minutes from then. You're doing this all minute. That's why it tells you now is the appointed hour, right now. Because what you're doing right now is what you're going to be doing. So if it fits with what you want, fine, great. Keep thinking about it. But if it doesn't, you better stop it because you're going to be doing it.
It's funny that you make mention of that scripture of now being the appointed hour, because I was thinking about that particular scripture where Jesus was saying, don't say that in 4 months the harvest will be ready. He says the harvest is ripe right now.
That's right.
And we have to be in the mindset of whatever it is that we seek to manifest, have in our lives, see it as now.
If it is, it all already is. All
Absolutely.
we're doing, we're not creating anything. We're only making creative choices. We're not creating anything. Creation's finished. All we're doing is just drawing to us what we think about. And if you don't see it in your world, don't sit and think about it. I assure you.
So what we're really doing is becoming conscious of what already is.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. And if you can see it in imagination, it's finished. But you have to claim it. You got to go up and knock on the door and claim it. I mean, you got to show up. People think about it, but they think of everything like that in the future.
Absolutely.
They never see that future because it has.
So you keep putting it off.
That's right. That's right. They got nothing holding it up. They wonder why it dissipates. Well, you got to feed it. It's that monster on the threshold that you have to feed. Yeah. Oh boy, he gloats. Remember the devil tells you about that dweller on the threshold, how he wanted to pummel it because he said he called this beautiful, beautiful woman his mother, and he was a hairy beast. So Neville fondled him. He hit him. And it just gloated. It was just, it enjoyed it. It was just gloating every time he gets struck. And that it's those visions like that people should really get into, because it's telling you that pummeling evil only encourages it. Telling it how much you hate it, you have to think about hating it to think about it being hated. And so, what are you spreading? You're spreading hate.
And he said at one point that he had thought to himself, if it took eternity, he was going to get rid of this thing. But if that's the focus, only thing you're doing, it's like the person whose focus is, let's use the proverbial devil. Your focus is the devil. Only thing you can reproduce is more devil.
That's it.
But we're told how to get rid of the devil. It says resist by not giving your attention to, cut off, hate the devil, let go, release, draw nigh to God. You always say turning. So draw nigh to God, the good that one desires. What is that thing that you want to manifest in your life? Give your attention to it.
That's it. You got it. That's it. What you give your attention to, you give your life to.
Absolutely.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
Pay attention to the things you love, and they'll flourish. Pay attention to the things you don't want, the things you hate, the things you dislike, and become just like them. Well, you ought to see. It should be so obvious, that your attitudes either make you or break you.
It really should be, but, we got a whole world of 7 billion people plus that most of them, it's not that obvious.
Well, obviously it isn't that obvious, right?
It kind of goes back to common sense ain't common to everybody.
Yeah, right. That's it. That's it. What you think upon grows. Just put it that way.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, just think about it. What you think upon grows. We all have to grow up sometime.
We do, one in one direction or the other.
That's it. Either grow up or old. Hey, look, I may ask all the time about what the next life is about. This is your next life. What do you mean? I said, this is your next life. There's nothing transforming in death. You just continue right on with the same attitude, assumptions, moods that you have here. If you don't change them, nothing changes till you change. It tells you that all the time in Scripture. Change your mind, change your world. But they don't listen.
The thing is, because, as you said, it's right there in Scripture. But you know what? To be honest with you, for almost 30 years, I was brought into the Christian experience early as a young teen. And for many of those years, I had read the Scriptures at least once a year. And in that, even though it said it, I didn't see it. I did not have eyes to see change your mind, change your world. And so what I perceived was that when I got better, then these good Scriptures would apply to me. You understand? I didn't see them as applying to me right then, right now. I saw it as something future, or when I got better, or when I left this life and I entered into what they told me was heaven, that my life would be transformed.
Yes, that's it. It only changes when you change your thinking. Simple as that. You change your mind, you change your world. I mean, people want to change their mind, but they don't want to sit. They don't want to invest in themselves to sit and be still in the silence and know that I'm God. He's telling you, I'm right here. Turn to me, I'll turn to you. If he said he's going to turn to you, then it's already, he said yes.
It's done.
Yes, he said yes. You turn to me, I'll turn to you. So his turning is dependent upon your turning, because you're the one. You're both the one. Jesus told you very clearly, very plainly, several times, I and my Father are one, even as you and I are one. One. And you'll do the things I do even greater. I mean, wow, what a challenge. I mean, that really shakes up the thinking field, doesn't it?
It does, but you have to go into silence. That Scripture, I would challenge the listeners to go into silence and meditate on, me and my Father are one, even as you and I are one. If you really get the gist of what's being said, that I can't say it any other way, Lindell, but this, that you are God.
That's it. That's what he tells you. You're gods, all of you. Everyone. everyone. But you have to put on the Christ mind to be the God. See, that's the difference. Now you have on the sleep mind. God caused the sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. But didn't tell you anywhere where he woke up. But Jesus, example. Follow the example. You can't miss it. But I know how difficult that is, because people look at all the great things. But he said things very simply, too, that just be nice to everybody, and everybody will be nice to you.
Do unto others.
Do unto others. That's it. And why is it all these people go into church and they don't, and yet their daily life never changes? I mean, aren't they suspicious that, wouldn't they be questioning God? Hey, I'm here every week, and I pray and pray and pray, and I ask you and ask you, and I'm trying to do all these good things. I'm giving to charity and everything else. Now, what's happening? And they get nothing. See, because that's what they're expecting. Nothing. In fact, that's why they're there complaining, because they expected nothing. If they expected something, they'd been there in praise.
Unfortunately, the reason why we get nothing, and I've been of that mindset, I was informed that in my doing, let's call it good works, for example, if I keep doing good works, not good thinking, good works, if I keep doing the hamster wheel thing, if I stay on the treadmill and I run hard enough, if I run hard enough on that treadmill, I'm going to leave my home and get to the store. Now, I'm still on that treadmill, but I'm supposed to be able to leave that treadmill of good works and go to the store and get the things that I desire. It's impossible. We've been taught works, and I'm not saying that works are bad. What I am saying, though, is that you can't get the results that you want in your life by self-effort. You have to change your mind and change your world.
That's exactly what Jesus said, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's exactly the way he put it. It's your mind. Mm-hmm. What are you doing in mind? Because that's what you're doing out here. If you'll do it in mind, you'll do it out here.
Absolutely.
Well, then that's what you should be thinking about. A guy called me from Australia again the other night. The idea is that if you think about it realistically, in imagination, remember, imagination is God. I mean, he claims himself to be all things to all. It would be imagination also. And he's telling you not to imagine mischievous imaginings. Now, why would he tell you not to imagine mischievous imaginings unless it would happen? I mean, why would he even bring it up? See, he's trying to warn you right there to think only on things that are lovely and of good report, as they say. People get in a trance, and they don't believe it. They get in a trance when they're worrying about something, and worry is exactly the opposite of faith. If they just understand how they're putting stumbling blocks in their path.
I like to say it this way: that they're praying for more of the stuff that they're worrying about.
That's it. You know, that worrying is the easiest thing in the world to get into, but it's the hardest thing to get out of.
It's addictive. The problem is when you worry, you think that I'm going to worry. It goes back to the hamster wheel. I'm going to worry myself out of this problem. It never will happen. You can worry till now, to the end of the world, and your problem will still exist. Change your mind and change your world.
It will have grown.
Absolutely.
Because what you think upon expands.
Absolutely.
So you're only creating more problem by your creative thinking of problem. You see, you got to kind of separate that, because you're told creation's finished. It's all done. It's finished. But then you're given shoes to stay. So if you're being creatively thinking, then you're creatively living. If you're thinking down tread, then you're down tread living. It's just that simple. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And it says heart because that's feeling nature. People got to take responsibility for what they think about. You're going to have to start dealing with your own inner conversations. Why not do it now? I mean, that's what everyone's looking for to get saved. Simple. But not easy. I understand that. Because nobody's on well, everybody's on all the time, but nobody's aware of being on all the time. But you're creating because you're thinking. And what are you thinking? If you don't know, well, I was just lost in thought. I'll tell you, you got to be, you are an explorer, so you got to explore the mind. I mean, if you want to explore, you can go out and explore all the mountains and all of that. That's great. That's great. But that's not preceding you on the path. You see, it's mind. That's what, not brain, but mind. That's what you want to learn to use correctly. Because I mean, it's your only tool.
It's, the thing is, and I think that we take it for granted. And you were talking about exploring the world, and what we fail to recognize that in our minds we have 1,000 universes in there. They say that you can get the most complex computer cannot equate to the human mind. So we'll sign off here. Become a part of the conversation with us. We'll enjoy having you. And so, listen, we'll sign off here, and we'll be talking shortly.
Okay.
All right, sir. Take care.